Hello, my name's Dave.
And my name's Jacob.
And we're inside the internet today to tell you what the best controller is for your PC gaming pleasure.
But just so we're in before the smart ass that the best controller for PC is the keyboard and mouse, we know that's a given. And if you're playing anything that needs a certain level of precision control, then the keyboard and mouse setup will still give you the ability to snipe like a pro.
Like a sadistic, sneaky pro. But there are other games, predominantly those developed primarily on console, which fare better with a pad than a rodent.
Sure, playing FIFA with a mouse is entertaining, but only in the same way that juggling hand grenades is entertaining. Anyone watching will get a good laugh, but you might end up losing your hands.
Yes, for arcadey games then you need a pad, and you have more options at your disposal than any of your console cousins.
Indeed, you can use any of their controllers too, from the Nintendo Switch Pro to the Xbox One and PS4 pads.
Hell, you can even use the Joy-Cons if you really want to.
You sick individual.
So let's start with the best pads you can possibly plug into your PC, and it's almost a two-way tie between Microsoft's standard Xbox One controller and Sony's DualShock 4. Well, it would be if Jacob wasn't so dead against the Xbox One pad anyway.
Both are completely compatible with the PC, especially now that Steam have added in DualShock configurations, and both can be used either wired or wirelessly.
Yeah, the DS4 pad is easier in that it just needs a Bluetooth connection, while the Xbox One pad needs the ugly-ass wireless adapter for another $20.
So which is best? It's almost down to personal preference, as both are solid, reliable, and very well built controllers. I'm personally more on the side of the DualShock, the thumbsticks are more accurate, and the central trackpad is a smart novelty. And I actually quite like the feel of the triggers.
Oh, you're an idiot. The triggers are absolutely the worst thing about the DS4.
Whatever happened to positive week? Anyway, I said I like the feel, not the action.
Okay, whatever, I'll agree that thumbsticks are the most accurate around, but the analog triggers of the Xbox One pad are great, and the offset configuration is far more ergonomically ideal than the symmetrical DS4.
It's still not as good as the Xbox 360 pad.
See, it's largely personal opinion. They're both the same price, a pretty reasonable $50 or even a little less, which is about what most other serious pads will cost from the competition.
One thing we can agree on though is that the real king of PC controllers is the Xbox One Elite. It's the real money no object pad.
It's solid, reliable, and feels so damn good in the hand. It's got a genuine heft that really feels like it's packing the full weight of technology inside it. The triggers are fantastic with multiple settings, and the magnetically attached thumbsticks allow for different travel lengths depending on what you're playing.
But it is expensive, and right now it's almost impossible to find in stock, well, really anywhere.
The cult of Razer from their Texas compound have obviously taken one look at the Xbox One Elite controller and said, we can do better than that. They can't. They've added in some micro-switch buttons to the Wolverine, some adjustable hair triggers, and dropped in a pair of pseudo-paddle switches on the underside of the pad, and kept it otherwise very clean, unlike the green-tinged Wildcat they released a few years back. But it's still a wired controller which costs over $150, and still only really feels on par with Microsoft's standard pad. There's nothing really wrong with the Wolverine, and there's equally very little that makes it stand out from the crowd. Well, apart from the RGB LED ring, of course, which is, yeah, that's not enough.
And this is where we're going to get the hate. The Steam controller is not a good controller, and I don't care how many of you pop up in the comments saying how we're noobs or we just need to get used to it and get good. Those thumb pads were a neat idea, but they're absolutely no substitution for a mouse, and simply don't help in arcade games. It also feels unforgivably cheap, and the chassis echoes horrifically too. Clicking the button sounds hollow, and it lacks the quality feel of even cheaper pads. I also find it frustrating the buttons and solitary analog stick are situated so close together too, and the rumble just feels weird. Though it does offer a nice friendly beep when you turn it on, and the haptics under the pads feel kind of nice on my thumb too.
Nintendo's Pro Controller feels like a proper pad, made by a proper company with a proper gaming heritage. The thumbsticks feel good and the buttons satisfying. It's also got an unprecedented 40-hour battery life via Bluetooth too, though if you want to use the specific Steam configuration you will have to plug it into your PC with a USB-C cable. It is also lacking actual triggers. The Pro Controller uses buttons in place of analog triggers, so if you're a fan of the old arcade racers, then you're probably not going to be a fan of the Pro.
You don't have to spend a fortune on your gamepad, and the Easy SMX Wireless is testament to that fact. It's just $25 and gives you an easy access 2.4 GHz wireless controller that apes the mighty Xbox 360 pad completely. It doesn't have the extra level of quality you'll get from pricier pads, and the triggers especially feel a little underwhelming, but it's still a solid, reliable controller that doesn't cost the earth, and you can't really ask a lot more than that.
Well, you shouldn't ask more than that. Unfortunately, MSI are for their Force GC30 wireless controller. Where the Easy SMX pad is going for the retro 360 styling, the MSI controller is trying to be a lot more like the Xbox One, and kind of fails. It's using the same 2.4 GHz wireless connection and comes with its own USB dongle in the pack. But considering it's the same price as the standard Xbox One pad, I can't see why anyone would go for this. Unless you really had a penchant for the little MSI Dragon logo in the middle.
Scuf Gaming do a whole host of serious gaming controllers in both Xbox One and PlayStation 4 trim. That means it will connect either via the Microsoft wireless dongle or Bluetooth. But you do also get a whole bunch of paddle switches on both the Impact and the Infinity One controllers. They're solid and require quite a bit of force to actuate, but that means you won't end up hitting them by accident. And they also come in designer threads too. Shiny.
But they are also the most expensive pads that we've checked out so far. The Golden Dragon version, especially here, is, well, that's over $200, just for the privilege of sweating over some fake dragon scales. The fancy colours and the paddle switches are the only things which really mark these controllers out from the competition. But if you want to peacock with your pad, then Scuf will have you covered.
We told you there are a whole host of PC controllers out there, didn't we? And that's still not all of them either.
But we've shown you the best with the Xbox One Elite, and if you can't stretch to that price, then the standard Microsoft and Sony pads will be all the controller you could ever want.
Well, unless you need a steering wheel or a flight stick, but that's for another time.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, and if you didn't hate us immediately, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more PC gaming and hardware chat, reviews and vital information.
Goodbye!